Hi everyone, it's Giselle with a message for today, and I wanted to just talk about the energies that have been happening and just a little bit about what I've observed in my life, and hopefully that will help some of you watching. It's always my intention to have people who will get something from my videos to find them, so it's a very strange time. I've not been posting for the past few days because I've really had to take time out to help and heal myself through circumstances that were out of my control. This time, this really difficult time we're going through right now, really highlights people's kindness and people's, I don't know what to call it. What's the opposite of kind? I've seen people being kind and caring for each other and going out of their way to be really, really nice, and I deeply appreciate that. But then I've also witnessed the opposite side of the spectrum, and it's been frightening to the point where I was truly scared for my life, and I've had to file a police report in order to get something done, not for me because it already had passed, but for anybody else who may be experiencing exactly the same thing. I live in a capital city, and although I can travel by foot, it's not safe to do so anymore. Because the people who now run the streets are, I don't really want to say here because I don't want my video to get flagged and, but they are people who have nowhere else to turn to. And they are really acting out in a way that is very vicious, very violent. It's like they've gone back to very primal fight or flight kind of times, which on one hand is understandable, but on the other hand, I really don't understand. I've had to receive an onslaught of verbal, oh gosh, I don't want to say the word because that's going to get flagged. YouTube is so sensitive these days. Very unkind words, very derogatory, insulting, name calling, every name you can under the sun, the B word, the C word, all of them I was called all of those names when in fact I never even did anything. All I wanted was to cross town and get to work because that's my only path that I can walk, really. And then one night before I went home, I walked a particular stretch of town that I thought was rather a pleasant walk because it's a very pretty part of town and it always has been my preferred way to go. Except this time I didn't think, because I got all of that happening to me in the morning, I set it out of my mind in the evening because, I just didn't want to keep thinking that would continue to happen. I thought maybe they just had a bad morning or whatever, and I would just forget about it. But then what happened was even worse. I was walking home, and one of them, they all started calling me names again, but then one of them decided it a good idea to try and stop me in the street and to stand there with him and sort of entertain him in a way. He said, come, march with me. I thought, no. Also, social distancing is a thing these days. You can't be too close to somebody. And he got really angry as I kept walking. I said, I just didn't want to talk to him either. It was just, because anything you could say would be the wrong thing. So I just kept on walking, and then he went, "Oi, get back here, you bee." And I thought, oh my God. And then to the point where he got so angry, he started chasing me. The funny thing is, though, they didn't want any food or money from me either. They just wanted to be like that. And that's something I completely was shocked by and really shaken up by. So I haven't been able to do any readings for a few days because of that. It was truly horrendous. And the only reason why I'm sharing this story is because I want people to be aware of the energies, you know. I've had people go out of their way to comfort me, to be kind to me, to bring me food and drinks and things that help, you know, people being very kind. And in turn, I've tried to be kind to people and help as much as I can, to be there, to listen to my friends when they're telling me they're particularly stressed or anxious that day. So what I'm trying to say, the energies, the reason why I'm telling you these stories is because the energies are so polar opposites now. I feel that the middle of the road, for now anyway, it can change in the future, but the middle of the road doesn't exist. You're either kind or not kind at all. And it's quite frightening, to be honest with you, the way that I've been witnessing that. And that event of that man chasing me down the street has really brought up wounds from my past, from almost 20 years ago, that I thought I had healed, from past relationship. And I was going to say relationships, but then I stopped because I realized it was only the one that was really horrendous. And that was, practically 20 years ago. And it's really made me look into that and try and take my power back in a way that would be aligned with who I am now being. Oh, it's really tough. And I feel this time is making it, making people look at themselves and their lives in ways that they have never before, because we've been given time to do that. It's not like we're going to be going anywhere else. And if we are going to ignore the time that we've been given to truly heal and reflect on ourselves, then that will truly be wasted. And other events in your life may happen again to make you look at these things, And it's unfortunate that I've had to go through this, but on one hand, I can understand why, in a way. I'm just grateful I got out of it unharmed, well, aside from the trauma, unharmed physically, because it could have been far worse. Because ordinarily, what do you do in a situation like that? You duck into a shop, you call the police. But because all the shops were closed and I had 30 minutes to get back home and nowhere to go to, I just had to keep running for my life. I wish that nobody had to go through anything like that, because it's horrendous. But of course, that's not true either, because my friend said that when she was just trying to get some lunch in town on her lunch break from work, and the reason why we're in work is because we work for a bank. We are key workers, so it's not like we can just go and not work. I mean, that's, again, we're grateful for that, because a ton of people aren't able to go to work. But then if you have to think about the circumstances in which you get to work, it's awfully scary. You are risking your life, effectively, because of these people, the way they decide to behave. You are risking your life to get into work. But anyway, gosh, I'm still quite shaken up, to be honest with you. That's why I'm quite tense. But I thought if I delay my videos any further, then I'm not doing myself any favors. And neither I feel that in some way this message will somehow help clarify things for some of you who are drawn to it. But yeah, my friend, when she was getting some lunch, she had witnessed a poor cashier, a girl working in one of the supermarkets, a very small supermarket, but a supermarket nonetheless, being insulted verbally again by these people. They were stood by the door and calling her all sorts of names because, of course, they didn't have any money to come in, and they shouldn't be going in all at once in such a small supermarket anyway, because they are risking each other's health and the girl's health. but it's truly horrendous to have to hear and witness these kinds of things, really. Also, I feel, do you know what? A few months ago, I remember one of my channelings was something about, in early 2020, there will be a time where the middle of the road will pretty much be removed. And I remember saying something like this even 2 years ago when I first started my channel. I know people then were very angry about that message. Not everyone, but a very select few were getting very irritated and angry. And I've had this channeling for a very long time, but I know that it became more prominent when I talked about it maybe late last year. And I said the middle of the road is going to be removed, and there'll be extremes, extreme good or extreme what we perceive to not be good, you know? And it's going to show people up for who they really are. And it's going to make things happen for how they really are supposed to happen. People who are not supposed to be in relationships now are going to be seeing that and are going to be forced to make a decision rather than stay stagnant. Because often people do stay together for reasons that aren't from the heart, you know, for financial reasons, for whatever other reasons. But now I feel this time is truly magnifying people needing to make the right decision because they are being given the opportunity to look into it and to really examine and to really, do some soul searching. I also want to say that one of my clients actually asked me when she heard about me going to university to study psychology, would I be retiring from giving readings? I said no, that was never my intention, but even more now, it is not my intention because of the situation that happened with the man chasing me, it brought on a lot of pain and trauma. I sought some counselling yesterday morning because I was so distraught and really not feeling like myself, which luckily now, after doing healing on myself, not the counselling, didn't help at all, to be honest, I am pretty much back on the mend. But because of the counselling that went so horrifically badly, in my opinion, she wasn't helping me at all. Firstly, there was no sign of compassion, or very rare, very faint sign of compassion. She was very stern, and I know I can be direct when I do readings, but I'm never not compassionate. That's the one thing that I feel is a prime reason for having to gone through so much pain in my life, is to develop compassion for the people that I'm trying to help. There was very, very little compassion, if any, there. And she was only trying to be practical. Well, can't you walk another route? Can't you do this? Can't you do that? And I'm thinking, I'm in pain. I'm trying to find some sort of relief from my pain, and all you can suggest are practical things. So once again, I've experienced this before, you know, when I did have that horrific relationship that ended with the police being called on the person that tried to end my life, really. I had counselling then, and it didn't work then, and it doesn't work now. I'm very sad to say. I know counselling works for some people, but not all people. One of my friends who suffers from anxiety, it worked very well for, and she's very happy, which that's great. But my other friend, it didn't work for, and she's very annoyed and is now trying to find other ways, including talking with me about getting closure on certain things, because that's one thing that they just cannot do. And I'm not trying to bash them, and I'm sure they have their place. But it's just, I keep hearing stories of people not finding them helpful more than I hear people finding them helpful. And that's why I am studying psychology, because I want to know the science behind it. But because I've been born a medium, and I'm an empath and have this gift that I'm now utilizing to help my clients from a non-scientific point of view, but a spiritual point of view. I want to find common grounds of blending the two in a way that would be most helpful. But really approaching it purely scientifically, I've not seen enough results that make me go, wow, this is the way forward. I'm going to retire once I've finished my studies. I'm not going to. I'm really not going to. I'm not going to shun the gift that is being given by the divine to get me to help people, because I know it's a gift. It is a true gift. It's not something that I've managed to learn. It's not something really, I mean, I know people can pick things up later in life, and that's great, but what I've been given, I truly cherish as a gift, as something that I shouldn't take for granted, and something that I shouldn't stop using just because I got a second degree. I mean, who cares? That's another thing I've learned, is that I don't have to prove myself to anyone. And sadly, one of my motivations, and it's a lesson learned, one of my motivations when I started my psychology degree, because I already have a business degree, it's not exactly like I'm collecting degrees or need to do that for anyone or anything, but it was more to appease my dad, because he was so against me having this business, because apparently it wasn't going to work out. But 3 years down the line, I'm still going strong. I'm growing my clients, not declining in clients. So, nothing is the way that he has said that it was going to go. And I feel that part of the reason why I went to do another degree was just to appease him and say, look, this is why I'm taking time off work, because I have to study. But really, it's to be able to focus on this business and, of course, my wonderful trusted clients that I've built up along those years. I know my energy update's been a bit all over the place and very emotionally charged. But this is a time for us to truly look within ourselves, to truly know what it is that we want from life, and to use that for our greater good and the world's greater good, in whatever way that looks like. So I hope this has helped at least clarify maybe a few things for people that were seeking clarity. I don't always feel that my videos are going to make a hell of a difference, but then I get a comment from somebody saying, oh, I never looked at it this way, or I didn't understand why I was feeling this way, and I'm glad that I now understand why. Also, for everybody who is empathic, and I feel a lot of you are, even if you may not have understood yourself to be that way, because not all of us are born with obvious gifts, but all of us have a sense of feeling things to a certain extent. And I feel these times now are heightening our powers, our emotions, our empathy, our ability to feel. For those of you who are empathic, please cut off the energies that don't belong to you, because the world is so highly charged with angst, fear, doubt, sadness. Cut that off. It doesn't belong to you. And just know that this will pass. I keep getting messages from people who are scared that things will not progress, that they've met someone and they're just, dating them, and now this has all been put on hold. This is temporary, okay? Just know that this is temporary. It's not permanent. You will pick up where you left off. Even twin flame reunions who are on pause right now, it's not permanent. This too shall pass. Just use this time to clear away any hurt, any pain, any anxiety, anything that may be stopping you from being your true, full, loving self, and anything that you may be carrying into your reunion. Get rid of that now. so that you are fully prepared and fully ready to reunite. And I know that they'll be doing the same too. I know that because I can feel that too. So yeah, that was quite a long update. Oh, for those of you who wanting to know about the telepathy ritual that I was going to do for myself, I haven't yet because of all that's happened to me. I didn't feel it'd be right to do so at this time. And especially after my feelings were so heightened, the last thing I want to do is hurt my person by connecting telepathically and getting him to feel all my pain. I don't want him to feel that. He doesn't deserve that. And you may think, well, why do you want to go through it alone? Because I can. Because I can carry this alone. I don't have to. And part of me hasn't, because I have talked to many friends about it, and they have tried to help me with solutions. They've been very kind and very, very loving, and I'm very grateful to have friends like that. I didn't tell my family because I didn't want to alarm them, because they don't live anywhere near where I do, and I don't want them to feel helpless, because they would. That's why I didn't tell them. But the friends that are close to me, I have told them, and they've been very kind and very loving, and I'm so grateful for them. So, yeah, I didn't do the telepathy ritual yet because I didn't want to hurt my person. But funnily enough, I dreamt about him, not last night, but the night before. And I dreamt like I usually do, but luckily this time he was connecting to me even more. He was starting to like pictures that I put up online. Now he's just following me, secretly. Well, not really secretly, because he's had a friend request me, so he's not secretly following me, but he is following me, even though he may pretend that he's not seen my post because he's not acknowledging them with a like. I know he's looking, so. But in the dream, he's actually started to like them. So again, we are making a lot of progress. And I've not had to step in with the telepathy ritual, although I feel I will do when I'm feeling much better. But actually, on the telepathy thing, I've had a couple of clients actually requesting that for me to do for them because they feel awfully disconnected from their person. And so I do it in 2 rituals actually because I feel it beneficial. First is a clearing ritual where we clear all of the unnecessary energies that would be hindering any positive telepathy between the 2 of you. And then we do the telepathy ritual, which I've actually got a few lined up to do over the weekend. So that's going to be interesting. I'll be happy to hear some feedback from people once they've had their rituals completed to see what progress it's made in their connections. So anyway, if you're interested in that or any of my other services, I'm still doing 20% and 30% off packaged bundles. I've made the bundles smaller as well to allow more people to have access to them because I know it's financially perhaps quite challenging at this time too. You can't always count on the government. Well, I guess the government is stepping in to do something, but maybe not in the way that we had hoped, because I know one of my clients said they were hoping for a larger payout, and they are getting something, but it's not as large as they were initially hoping for or promised. But yeah, that's why I'm going to do my actually thinking about it. I haven't fully confirmed this yet, but I will on my community page when the time comes. But I think I'll continue on this promotion. I was initially just doing it until the end of the month, but you know what? I think I'll continue on until end of April at least, to help more people who are wanting to take advantage of these services to get it at a cheaper rate. But I'll update you on my community page when the time comes. Thank you all so very much for watching. Take care of each other and yourselves, and have a beautiful day. Namaste.